Good evening, one and all. It's Tuesday night. It is 10:15, and this is Seeds of Wisdom. And firstly, I want to give a big apologies. I am late. Time is something that I am almost obsessed about. So to be running late does not please me. No technical difficulties. Putting the boys to bed. I'm 2 young boys, got 3 children total, and I fell asleep. As simple as that. And for those of you who followed me in my journey since July last year, this happened a few times. So yeah, it was a timely reminder of where I used to be. So yeah, first and foremost, massive apologies for running late. Yeah, and I know the clocks have gone forward, so I can't use that excuse either. So there we go, I'm running late, apologies. Just going to check that I'm actually live with you people, so just bear with me one moment. I'm still getting used to this new technology. We're going to dive in. Right, cool. I'm live. Just going to share this post. Cool. Right, we're good. So welcome to those who are watching live or on the replay. It is always an honor to have you on here. I'm David Daniels. I also cover the name of the Shy Man, social media. Now it's a bit dry. I've had some water, but literally put the boys to bed, overslept or fell asleep, woke up, saw the time. I thought, got to do my Facebook Live. Literally came downstairs, freshened up a bit, and I'm on. So there we go. That's how we're doing it. So this is Seeds of Wisdom. Message tonight is cut the noise. Cut the noise. What do I mean by that? What I've learned since I've been doing these Facebook Lives is that there's a lot of noise in this world. There's a lot of noise. So if you think about the ways I communicate with people nowadays, it could be in a number of different ways for the same person. So it could be Facebook Messenger, it could be WhatsApp message, it could be text message, it could be email, it could actually be a good old-fashioned voice, and this could be the same person. And contact so many different ways we have to speak to people nowadays, and depending on the situation. So for me, I love doing voice notes. Now, Facebook Messenger only allow you to do a minute of voice notes. So there's particular people I know, I've got their mobile numbers, so if I want to send a message longer than a minute, I tend to use WhatsApp. And then sometimes we'll communicate by text, and this could be like an ongoing conversation, but different ways of communicating with people. So what I'm trying to highlight is that there's multiple ways of speaking to people nowadays, which is absolutely great. But for me, sometimes that can cause a lot of noise. So when I started out on this journey on Public and on Facebook Live, I wanted to get my message out to as many people as possible. So I was adding a lot of friends, people would invite me to groups. I'd stay in those groups. And what I was finding is that, especially in Facebook, the amount of notifications I was getting was just increasing all the time. And I'm a man, I love information. You nerds, call me geek, whatever. I don't care. I love information. I love finding out about things. I love consuming information, and there's occasions there's things I want. If I'm into something, I want to know everything about that particular subject. So particular friends I've got to know through the speaking journey, they're professional speakers, they're coaches, they run events, they do all sorts, and I want to know exactly what's going on. I want to know what's happening on the scene. So, but I've realised that I can't keep up with everything. I just can't keep up with it all. I can't follow everyone's status of what they're doing. There's only so far down I will be able to scroll down my Facebook when I'm on there. Before I'm on it for a considerable amount of time. One thing that's really highlighted to me how much noise I've had is when I've started my own business, and actually started a business, it's a property related business back in October, but because of the type of the niche I'm in, means I have to be regulated, or to do things properly, it pays to be regulated. So I've been spending quite a few months on and off getting regulated. Obviously, my dad passed away in November, so that put a massive hold on things. But I'm actually now, the last few weeks, at the stage I'm actually advertising, speaking to people what services I can offer, what solutions I can offer to their property related problems. And in doing that, it's really highlighted to me how little time I've got at the moment. I'm working full time. I've got a family. I've got church commitments. I've got commitments to my wife, obviously being a husband, father, son to my mum, etc., etc. And then now taking on a business and getting that going, it's really highlighted to me how little time I have, and a lot of it's for my choice. I chose to get married. I chose to have children, so I'm not moaning about that. And God willing, it'll get to a stage where what I'm doing now will free up time for me to do more of the things that I want. I'll just to literally have more time to choose what I want to do. So it is what it is. So I've really had to cut down on the amount of noise. So the amount of notifications I get, the amount of groups I'm in, the amount of emails I get, the amount of posts I get, pigeon mail, snail mail. I've really worked hard to cut that out. And along this journey I've been doing, the wrong thing that really is highlighted to me is I need to give myself time to think. Doing this Facebook Lives, you can see the light is not perfect, the background's not perfect. You can say I'm not perfect, I need a trim or what have you. But for me and my personality, it's traditionally one person who wants everything done to the minute detail. And if it's not right, I won't get involved. And this journey has taught me that sometimes you've got to just take action. Take action before you're ready. Take action before things are exactly how you want to be, and you can work things out along the way. Action creates a reaction. Action will get you so much further than just planning all day long. And it's a fine balance to be had, because sometimes it takes time. Like what I'm having to do now is plan my time in blocks of time. When am I going to make phone calls to potential clients? When am I going to make time to capture what the conversations I've had? I'm using a customer relationship management program at the moment that's going to make things a lot easier for me. But that took time to set up. I had to dedicate blocks of time to that. When am I going to spend time with my wife, what we call a date night? When I'm going to spend time with my children? I've had to plan blocks of time. So planning is important. But action a lot of the time can trump planning. At the moment I'm trying to get to a stage where I've got systems in place. I'm a very systemized person, and with the business I'm just having to do things, and then the system will kind of evolve itself, rather than, as my mentor says, rather than having a system in place, not do any action. Take action and find out the system is not suitable. Just get it sorted along the way. But on my journey of doing these Facebook Lives, and I've often said, is unleash a creativity gene, if you want to call it, that I never knew I had. I always told myself that I wasn't creative, and having to come up with content for these seeds of wisdom, and just think of a subject, kind of mull over it in my head, maybe make a few notes, and then just record the Facebook Live. It's been a real eye-opener for me. It's been a real, highlight in my journey in life. And even with that, because I want to do things well, I was starting to invest more time in these Facebook Lives, finding out a little bit of research to bring the best of myself to you guys. But we've had to take on this business. It was either a case of either to stop doing these Facebook Lives, because although they're usually up to half an hour, the work that goes in beforehand takes up time as well. And I'll start to do things like record videos previewing the Facebook Live, because I wanted to reach as many people as possible. And to do that, you've got to Hey, Complete, how you doing? Long time no speak. Hope you are well. Thank you for joining and thank you for the comment. Um, if any of you don't know Complete, she's an amazing lady, just full of love, full of energy. Check her out, see what she's up to, support her, see how you can help her. So, yeah, I was dedicating more and more time behind the scenes in order to bring you Seeds of Wisdom, and obviously since then I've also added another Facebook Live, which is prayer time. So having to take on the business has really forced me to think, well, what do I do with this? Do I give it up? And it was a real tension because for me, this is my hobby. This is what my hobby, and I think it's important to have hobbies. I don't have many hobbies. I mean, I'm a massive sports fan, a massive football man. I've cut down on all of that just because I haven't make the time for that. Other things are more important in my life. But it's important to have hobbies. I'm working really hard at the moment, and it's important to have, especially one like this, which engages my creativity, which is just going to have a positive impact on my life, my business, etc. So I thought about doing pre-recorded videos, and it may work out that if I keep waking up late or whatever, you falling asleep, then I think pre-recorded videos is the way to go. But I've kind of, at the moment, I've got in between, so I've gone back to what I used to do, is just work off the cuff, just really work off the cuff, not spend a lot of time in preparation. So the preview videos are going, they're not going to be happy for a few months at least, and so it's just going to be kind of raw. I've always kind of done things raw with Facebook Live, and it's going to be more raw. Go back to what I used to do. So you might have a few videos of dodgy lighting, what have you. Some people say it detracts from the message. Some people say they get obsessed with what's going on in the background. To be honest, right now I don't really care because I know what I'm like, and if I start focusing on what's behind me and all that, you'll probably never see a Facebook Live, because I probably won't do one, because it will never be to my satisfaction. So it's more important for me just to do this, and hopefully you look past that and take the message from my voice, from what I'm saying. And one thing I will keep doing is leaving you with an action point at the end, what I call the Schreiman's takeaway, that I wanted you to action as soon as you come off this Facebook Live, so that you're not just focusing on the background and just think, oh, I wish you had a plain background or whatever. Hopefully you spend the time, you take the time to listen to this message, you'll get something out of it that you can take away and implement immediately. But on this journey of doing this Facebook Live and unleashing my creativity juices, it's really, really highlighted to me the importance of giving yourself silence in your life. Please put a comment on here saying, purpose and passion don't require preparation because the message comes from the heart. Thank you. I couldn't put it better myself. Everything, what I do comes from the heart. The rest, the techniques, the what have you, the preparation can come later, which I do. Thank you, Complete. It's really nice to say, and that means a lot coming from a person like yourself. So it's really highlighted to me the importance of giving yourself silence in this world where there's so much noise, there's so much communication. We don't give ourselves enough time in silence. And the other thing that kind of highlighted me to bring this message to you today was, so often in my moments of silence, give yourself moments of silence. That's what I should have called this, but anyhow. So where are your moments of silence in life? That's a question. If you want to answer it, brilliant. I think that's it. Where do you give yourself moments of silence? MOS. Where do you give yourself moments of silence? For me, it's first thing in the morning when I'm getting ready, or in the evenings when I'm having a shower. It doesn't have to be you sit there, you do nothing. It could be when you're doing mundane tasks. So often for me, it's mundane tasks, washing up, doing the ironing, having a shower, getting ready in the morning. And for me, I used to fill that time with, like I say, going back to the information thing, my obsession with information, listening to podcasts, listening to YouTube videos, listening to Facebook Lives, listening to this, listening to that, because I want to get as much information and make the most of my time. All these tools are great, but one of the greatest tools you can equip yourself with is giving yourself moments of silence. Just being quiet and let your mind speak to you. Give your mind time to think. That's why sleep is one of the greatest tools that I believe God has given us, and I hold my hand up. It's a massive journey for me to get myself more sleep, because when I'm doing what I'm doing, I've been sacrificing sleep and not can't think of the right way to put it. Not realizing how important sleep is and making that a priority. That's what I'm trying to say. Not making sleep a priority is kind of the last thing I do. But for all of us, sleep is important, especially young children. It's the time the body rests, the mind rests. Where do you give yourself active moments of silence? There we go. Amos now. Where do you give yourself active moments of silence? When you're asleep, although your mind is working, you're working on a subconscious level. Where do you give yourself active moments of silence? So what my active moments of silence, I say, could be often getting ready in the bathroom in the morning, and I'm just there in silence, and my mind will just start working, and then I'll start thinking things to myself, and thoughts come out. Usually what I've experienced is ideas for Facebook, my seeds of wisdom will come out, messages I want to speak about. And sometimes so many thoughts come out, it's just like I need a pen and paper to hand. Obviously, that's not a practical thing to do in the shower. But yeah, thoughts just come out. Thoughts just come out. But if you're not giving yourself that time to think, you're suppressing those thoughts. You're keeping them all in your head. So where are you going to give yourself active moments of silence? Try it. You might not get anything at all. And me, hopefully you would know, but if you're not, I'm a man of faith. I'm a Christian. I'm loving this engagement. Thank you, Complete, so much for this. And great minds think alike. I was just about to say, right, I'm going to jump on Complete's comments. Just said, my MOS is in the bath. That's when God speaks to me, answers prayers of guidance, especially when preparing for my workshops and coaching sessions. And that ties on nicely. It was exactly what I was going to, not exactly, similar to what I was going to say. I was just about to say, I'm a man of faith, I'm a Christian. So for me, prayer, talking to God, having a conversation with God is one of the main tools that God has blessed me with in order to speak to him and share what's going on in my life, and for prayers and my praise reports of things I'm thankful for. And one thing I've learned is often I may have a thought, I may have a prayer request, something that's going on in my life, and or decision to make will be in a few weeks, and I'm thinking, like a silly example, like when I go to London now, because I'm from London originally, I live in Ipswich in Suffolk, but I've been going back to London more often than I usually do. But when I go to London, I really want to make the most of my time. A lot of my family there, a lot of my friends are there, in terms of me engaging in personal development events to help sharpen me and what I'm doing. I want to make the most of the time. So sometimes I'm literally in London for days. So I'm cramming my diary. Who can I see? Who can I book in to see? And what time I'm going to get the coach down and all the rest of it. And I want to plan all these things now. And what I've learned is sometimes I just need to let time take its course. And often what's happened, things have worked themselves out. I could be asking God, oh God, this is going on. I need answers to this. I need answers to that. And sometimes just by just giving that time, just stewing on it, give yourself active moments of time, active moments of silence, active moments of stewing. I think the acronym's getting too big now. But anyway, give yourself time to stew over things, to mull over things. Some people will call it meditate, if you want to use that. Just have a thought, have an idea, maybe it's something that's troubling you in your life, and just you want to talk to your friends, you want to pray to God or whatever. Sometimes you just need to be silent and just let your mind work things out for itself. But if you're not giving yourself those active moments of silence, you're not giving yourself the opportunity to have that. So I find often now a lot of things, it could be insignificant, like sorting out my preparations for London, planning and what have you. They will kind of, instead of me trying to battle to sort out there and then, they'll kind of figure themselves out. If I just give it time, put the idea out there, put my thoughts out there, and just say to myself, right, okay, I'm not going to sort this thing out now. I'm just going to leave it and just leave it. And then sometimes it will come to a point that it will have to be sorted out. But I found out that certain things, give it 3, 4, 5 days, they will sort themselves out. So it's powerful, giving yourself AMOS, active moments of time. See, I sound like a professional now with all these acronyms and stuff. Professional speaker. Active moments of time, AMOS. It's really valuable. The other reason that kind of confirmed me bringing this message, it also gives you time to reflect. So, my wife went out yesterday. She went out to meet someone to discuss some things about church. And she said on the way home that she wanted to speak to me. So she called me up. I was trying to do a million and one things, had a busy evening. So she'll be talking, I had to say what I had to say, and then she'll be quiet. And what she was doing, she was just reflecting upon what I said. Because sometimes what I do sometimes is someone will say something to me, I kind of have my initial reaction, and it literally could be a couple of minutes and think, oh no, this is what I want to say instead. So she was just digesting what I said, and so there was this silence, and just a little caveat or a little, I digress a bit. For me, some people are uncomfortable. I'll come back onto that. So anyway, I'll carry on the story. So she was silent, and usually I'm fine with silence, but on this occasion I was trying to wash up. I couldn't put my phone on speakerphone because she couldn't hear me. My Bluetooth headset wasn't working properly. I was literally holding the phone in one hand, trying to wash up with one hand. It wasn't working. So I kept saying to her, are you going to say anything? If you're not going to say anything, then I'm going to go because I've got things to do. And in the end, every conversation was cut short. But reflecting back on that, I should have just given her that time. I'm going to spend 20 minutes talking to you, and whether you say something or not, I'm just going to give you that time. Because for me, that moments of silence weren't productive in my eyes. I had things to do. If you're not going to say something, I need to go, and I'll see you when I get home. But that silence was important at that stage because I was saying things, and she wanted to give a moment to reflect, and I should have just given her that time. What I was going to digress down is some of us are not comfortable with silence. Have you ever heard that phrase? Oh, why is the TV on? I'm not watching the TV, it's for background noise. We've got ourselves to a stage in human nature where we need, or some people feel they need to have noise because they can't cope with silence. So they'll have the TV on, background noise. Or maybe it's the radio, maybe it's something else. People are uncomfortable in silence, especially with each other. And for me, I've always held on to this. I know if I'm really comfortable in someone's presence, if I can be silent with them, just be in a room with them, we could be working something and just be silent with them. If I'm comfortable being silent with you, if I don't feel the need to say something, then I know that I'm truly comfortable with you. And that's what I used to say to my wife, and I don't think she understood what I meant. Because I could happily be in a room with her, we'd both be doing something, both be reading, both be silent and totally comfortable. I don't feel like I need to fill that gap with words, with babble. I find a lot of people are not comfortable with that, especially some children in there. And Whispers of the Heart, Complete calls it. The Whispers of the Heart. I love that phrase. Thank you, Complete. a lot of us are not giving our children the time just to be quiet. It's like they haven't got toys to play with, they haven't got the Xbox to play with. It's like, oh, what do? I'm bored. I'm bored. Children need to be bored sometimes, you know. Children need to be bored. I'm sure there's another acronym in there somewhere, but I'm done with that. Children need to be bored sometimes. Children just need to do nothing sometimes. Adults need to do just nothing sometimes. Just sit still, just be quiet, listen to the whispers of the heart, as complete is saying. I say when I do my prayer times that sometimes we pray to God, we ask God for this, we give him this prayer list, but sometimes we don't give God the opportunity to talk into our lives. We're too busy talking to give God the ability to actually listen to what God is saying. And sometimes the answer to prayer, God has already given us, but we're too busy talking to listen to what he's saying. And it's not always a big booming audible voice. Sometimes it's a whispers of the heart, it's a pulling of your spirit. Thank you, Carol, for it. Yeah, it's a great term, whispers of the heart. I love it. We're not giving God the opportunity to talk, to believe. I think there's a reason why he gave us 2 of these and 1 of these. We don't use them in the right proportion sometimes. So give yourself active moments of silence. And for me, as I'm getting to know people, often I'm speaking to someone, getting to know them, there could be awkward moments of silence. Sometimes I feel like I need to fill the gap, or it's just awkward. But sometimes you've got to allow that awkward moment of silence. It's good to be silent. Sometimes it's good to reflect. It's good to digest what you've taken in. So that's my message to you. And like I said, my messages now come with an action, a takeaway, the Shines takeaway, homework, if you want to call it. And my homework to you is to give yourself, decide when you're going to give yourself active moments of silence. And this can depend on what season in your life you're in. Some of you out there are busy mothers with multiple children, managing the house. Life is crazy. And you can't give yourself time to think because your children or whatever are not allowing yourself. So I realise some of us are going through some tough situations at the moment. I understand that. But it can start, a habit starts with something small. A wave often starts with a ripple. So it could be, give yourself 5 minutes of peace. It could be find somewhere, it could be in the toilet or something like that. Give yourself at least 5 minutes just to be quiet. Like I say, some people call it meditation. Some people have got techniques. Or I'm just talking very simple, basic level. Just give yourself some silence. What does Carol say? Carol says, I often have silent moments. I never thought of them as active moments. Yeah, being silent, active silence. There we go. Thank you, Carol. Active silence. Complete say it's all like Carol in the park. I think I missed some comments. Forgive me, people. Yeah, active moments of silence. It is an action being silent. You choose to be silent. You can choose to put the TV on for background noise, or you can choose to turn it off and just be quiet. If you want to go a step further and start getting a bit spiritual, whatever, listen to Mother Nature, listen to the birds and all that stuff, if you want to. Just be quiet. And talk about nature. Sometimes even this is probably another message. So some of us have our eyes open, but we're not seeing anything. There's a saying around that vision or something like that. We're so busy rushing through life. Sometimes we don't take our heads to look up and actually see what's going on around our environment. It could be a beautiful. We're on a good wavelength tonight, complete. We're filling in each other's words. It could be a building that is above or something, and you just never taken the time to actually look at your surroundings. You just got your head down, driving to work, on the bus, headphones, and that's another thing, headphones on, listening to your iPod. I don't even have iPods nowadays. What do you know what I mean? Again, with noise. With noise. One thing, again, another thing I've tried to be really cut down on this. Like, I've got a good friend who gives me a lift to work every day. Usually, I used to be on the phone. I still do this from time to time, so I'm not there yet. But I'm making a conscious effort just not to be on the phone and not to catch up while I'm in the car with him. And I think at Christmas time I was down in London with my family, like 3/4 of us were in the same room, but we're all on our phones, or the TV is on. Not engage. We're engaging on Facebook or social media with X amount of people around the world, but we're not engaging with the people right in front of us. And that's probably a whole different. That's a whole other tangent I could go down on. It's crazy when you think about it. It's crazy, but that's where we've got ourselves to at the moment. So my homework to you tonight, my takeaway message is: define when your active moments of silence are. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to plan them out. If it helps you, plan them out. Plan them out in a week. Plan out a block of time when you're going to have to just be silent. And it might be awkward. It might be uncomfortable. But sometimes we need that. From the butterfly, when it becomes a caterpillar, it goes the other way around. When a caterpillar becomes a butterfly, it goes in a cocoon. It has a struggle. It wrestles inside. It's uncomfortable. But then it breaks out and it becomes something more beautiful than when it was. So the more opportunities you give yourself to give yourself those awkward moments of silence, if you want to call it, it becomes more and more comfortable. So when I first get to know someone, there might be a few awkward moments of silence, like when I first got together with now my wife. Obviously, I want to impress her and stuff like that. So, but now we're at a stage, we've been together for quite a few years now. I can happily be in a room with her, doing whatever, and just be silent with her, and just, I won't say it's bliss because that might be interpreted the wrong way, but I'm comfortable with. But it took time to get to that stage, but I had to go through that awkwardness. So that's what I'm saying. So that's my takeaway point to you. If you take nothing else, if you don't watch anything else, just watch this last few moments and define when you're active. Your aimless time is your active moments of silence, and be silent. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back. For those of you interested in the stuff I do on Sunday, that's Prayer Time Facebook Live. Really had a fantastic Facebook Live last Sunday. If you're interested, you haven't seen it, please watch the replays with Natasha Johnson. My first guest on Prayer Time. That's where I want it to be. Complete. You're on the hit list. I want you on at some point. I know you're busy. And for me, that's not going to happen now for a few months. I need to focus on building up my business. Again, going back to that takes time to do that. Me and Natasha have been planning that for weeks now. We've had challenges with technology and getting together, but it was a beautiful thing when it came together. But again, that takes time. So I want to get myself to a position where I've got more time to choose the things that I want to do. So it's going to be a few months yet. So you're just going to have me on Sunday praying for you, praying for whatever you want prayer for, or whatever you want to give thanks for. So that's on Sunday night. But God willing, I'll be back next Tuesday at 9:30 GMT, normal time, with another Seeds of Wisdom. And that's it. Shine and smile. Thank you all. Thank you, Complete. Thank you for all the watch. And Carol, for your comments. That's why I love Facebook Lives as opposed to recorded videos, because you can't get that interaction on recorded videos. So for now, I'm going to carry on doing the Facebook Lives. So thank you so much. God bless. Take care. See you soon. Oh, too long. You caught that, didn't you? It's all good. It's all good.